It is no news that Nigeria is faced with a myriad of challenges, from insecurity to striking doctors. There is hardly a sector in the economy that is not challenged. Nigeria also ranks 3rd in the World Terrorism Index, a report that some do not agree with. However, in contrast, Nigeria moved up to 21 places in the World Happiness Report. That's the ranking of happiness, average life evaluations, based on the 2020 surveys, from 80th to 59th position, ranking above countries like Russia, Ghana, South Africa, and Kenya. What do we make of these contrasting reports? Does comedy have a role to play in the well-being of citizens? Now, as you've seen, we were supposed to have our host, Benga Adeyinka, tonight, but he missed the train, like literally missed the train, you know. He literally missed it. However, the show must go on. So let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation by sending us an SMS or WhatsApp to 08180384663. We're also going to leave our phone lines open, which is an exception for today. And I will be sharing the number with you once we have it. But we want you to really contribute, because we think that this topic really affects all of us. You know. But we'll start with the ladies, and I will share the number with you shortly. Okay, so ladies, first, let's just share how comedy makes us feel. So I will start with Elsie.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm already smiling. Elsie, you love comedy. Like, we know it on your WhatsApp status. You cannot fly you pass.
Really?
Yes.
Really? So a lot of you need to start paying me for the premium content I provide on my WhatsApp status. I know you people cannot see it, but I mean, that's the benefits of knowing Elsie, or having Elsie's number. Okay, so when it comes to, I mean, they always say laughter is a good medicine for the soul, for your body, and a quick research, or even a search on the search engine about what laughter can do for your mental health, to give you things like organ stimulation, stress relief, relief from tension, a boost to your immune system, pain relief, positivity. It basically just helps your outlook on things and make you feel sort of better. So like she said, she had a very rough day today. Okay, I'll allow her say it by herself. If she's someone who enjoys comedy, for me, you can just go to your Instagram now. It's now on demand. It's not a case where we have to wait for a comedy show or going for a comedy concert or when it pops up on TV. Now it's on demand. You can go on Instagram, you can go on any social media of your choice to get a bit of comedy, and it helps. Right? It's something that those who sort of help in terms of your mental health and your physiology would recommend to you to just consume such content instead of consuming things that would make you feel offended. But at the same time, you understand that as much as it is a good thing, it's relative for some people as well. So there are comedies that are outright offensive for some, and for others, although of course those people are sort of like the minority, not the majority, but you cannot take away how they feel from this equation. So for me, comedy is a big deal. Like, sometimes when I'm watching these guys, I feel like, God, please bless me, so that while I watch them, I can just easily send them money and say, thank you.
Number,
it's something I want to do, and I think a lot of people do it for them too, and which is how they make their monies as well. I mean, they make us laugh. They pick issues or things that we can relate from the society and just create comic out of it. And because it is very relatable, you would laugh, because you've probably found yourself in that situation one way or the other, or you heard someone, you can relate, and it's very funny to you, and then you find yourself cracking up. And the point is just to laugh, to release that happy hormone. I don't know what they call it now, but
feel good,
you know, just feel good about it. So I love them. I don't joke with them. I don't even, I'm not a fan of music concerts. But you see, comedy shows, if I have the opportunity, I'll be there. Because for me, except when, you know, the artist is going to put in a lot in terms of their stage performances, in Nigeria here, they really don't. So sometimes I don't see the experience or the difference in terms of me plugging in my AirPods or playing music in the house in a good sound system and enjoying the music, as to going into a crowd and then just have the artist give you a below the par performance and just also do karaoke to you, right? So it doesn't make sense to me. So, but when it comes to comedy shows, especially in this part of the world, I love to be there. I love to watch them. I love to support them, and they make me happy.
So it was just one simple question to our Elsie, and we have been schooled. So,
sorry, dear.
That's to tell you that we have content for you today. Thank you very much, Elsie.
You're welcome.
Very, very enlightening. And for the first time, you got me thinking and looking at the aspect of comedy a bit differently.
Okay.
I, for one, don't get amused easily. Will I go out of my way to see comedy? No, I won't. I'm not big on comedy movies. I won't even touch it. And not because I'm a sadist or anything. I just think differently. You know, when you're trying to now, the feel-good hormone, right? That's what? Dopamine? No, that's
endorphin.
Endorphin. There's another one called the dopamine.
Yes.
The feel-good hormone. And how do you get that? When you listen to music, when you do exercise, when you listen to stuff that elevate your state of being. And for me, that's how I connect. If I want to distress, I would do stuff that boosts my
endorphin. I'm one of those people that
my dopamine level
by working out.
Yes, I love it.
Okay,
I love
amazing.
it. There's no
I know.
way.
I just wanted to check.
I love how I feel during
After that,
and after workout. I look forward to doing it even after. Have I been able to? No, I've been struggling with being consistent. But I would rather choose workout over dieting any day.
Of course.
Because of the feel-good hormone. And if I want to distress, I would rather consider listening to messages like that.
Yeah, very rare, and I'm sure that
I'm maybe weird.
No, you're not weird. I would say that you are rare, and I'm sure that the comedians are very happy that your population is small.
No, people don't. And do you know, I love comedy. There's some skits online that you would have to watch. There's quite a number of them. Now, when I think about a lot of people are churning out content that you would not even believe the level of intelligence and creativity that our young people have.
Exactly.
I watch a number of them. One of them is this lady, what's her name again? That dressed up like a mother.
Tao.
I love Tao. I love Tao. I would watch Tao every time. And Lasisi.
Okay.
I used to really love Lasisi, but I guess over time, not as much.
Contest at the finish.
And I love this guy's angle to comedy, SLK.
Oh, that's an intelligent
The guy is very, very intelligent.
All these people, we need to
the way
go
he
and
put
collect
out his
money.
content.
SLK, if you're not intelligent, if you're not smart,
you can't get the message.
You won't laugh.
I think
His
that every
lines, his
comedian
text, you won't get
has
it.
the market and their.
Femi
That
is
is so silly.
Femi is silly.
I have to use the word
silly.
and it's in a good way. Femi is a nuisance.
Femi is purely silly.
I agree
You
with
know,
you.
and I love Mr. Macaroni's comedy as well. He's
Okay,
very nice.
so let's jump off on people that we are liking and we are telling people to go and see them. Thank you very much. But do we see comedy as a means of communication of, important things too? So important issues in our economy and things that are really we need to touch on. Do you think that comedy actually does good job in letting
Doing
people know about these issues and the reaction or the response they should elicit towards, let's say, for example, drug abuse?
I think it does. A couple of them are doing that. Remember Mr. Macaroni, when we had the NSAS movement or protest, he was one of those who also used his platform to create short skits around what he experienced. The first protest, the second protest, he did that. We have people like Basket Mouth who would always attach a cause to what he's doing. Bovi also does that subtly. I mean, a couple of them have to, because they draw their inspiration from the society and they live in this society. So they have to be in a bubble for them not to experience the ills in this society. So there is no way that they will not do that. But sometimes you also see some of them who, I mean, it's normal as well, because we have people who enable things that we term morally wrong. And you see people who now try to portray that in their comedy skits, and of course you get people calling them out to say, no, this is not acceptable, we can't do this. I can remember clearly of someone who did a skit, I can't remember his name now, who that person was, but I remember the skit where the way he portrayed the LGBTQ community was not nice, and he was definitely called out on it, and of course he apologized and all that. I remember someone who did a comedy as well about rape, and it was not the message we were trying to pass across now in terms of our progressive thoughts regarding the woman body and all that. He was called out as well, and he understood his mistakes as well, and he apologized, you know. So it's a great tool. The only thing for me is sometimes I wonder if some people will not overly laugh and forget the message and then just carry on with their lives without getting the point. But yes, it is an amazing tool to pass a message, to enlighten people, to educate people and whatnot. Yeah.
You wanted to contribute to that? I
agree 100% with what Elsie said. Comedy is a very good tool in passing message subtly, easily. It's an easy pill to swallow because people get a lot of relief while they are listening to the message or they're watching the skits, and it's really critical that we use it as a vehicle more than we've been doing. We should go beyond just trying to entertain people. I see a lot of skits that addresses more of, I see the hustle, you know, I see the hustle, I see the desire to be relevant, but we should understand that what's the message? And how would you be remembered? You could mention a number of comedians that use their platform. We should get to that point where people will naturally stop over a content and continue watching, as Instagram would prompt you, if it's entertaining and it's educative. So we should go beyond just entertaining people and try to pass significant messages with our comedy. So yeah, it really already does that, but we should use it more and not just try to shade people, because I think sometimes when there's a political heel or there's a bit of misbehavior on the part of our leaders, we use that a lot to do skits. And we just water down the conversation.
Hold that thought, because we'll come back right after the break. Actually, because I want us to really talk about that, you know, when we're addressing that. But we'll come back after the break, and also would open our phone line so we can hear what you have to say. So see you. Don't go anywhere. See you after the break. Welcome back. So we were talking about, before we went on the break, we were talking about the impact of comedy as it relates to nation building and also their impact. Well, we would like to hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation or send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-8038-4663. Now our phone lines are open. Please call us on 070-3582-9702. Let me take that again, 070-3582-9702. Now, I had to stop you because I also wanted us to talk about that. A lot of people have said that comedy puts the country in a bad light, you know, because we kind of talk about our leaders, just as you said. Remember the case of the opening door, and it was a trend. So everything becomes a trend when we see this. Yeah, so
was there a joke to that?
There was a
trend, not exactly a joke, but of course.
Yeah, what was the backstory to that?
Who was it again?
It was El Rufai, I think.
Yes, so his door opener.
His security detail opened door for the
came down for opened door for the person in front whoever that's supposed to be, and that person came down and then opened the door
for someone else to open
the door.
So
it's not like the door opener has a door opener
and then before the main person that is whoa, that's how come the skits came up.
Yes, that's how it came up.
I saw the skits, but I didn't understand what led to that.
So our comedians made it
more elaborate.
Yeah, so let me go back to my question. So the thing is that, you know, people have accused them of putting the country in a bad light by maybe throwing more light on societal ills. And so people think differently, that we're putting this on the spotlight so that people begin to change and become aware of bad behavior. But what do you really think about it? Do you think we make serious matters unserious? Do you think we're portraying the country in a bad light by doing this?
Definitely.
By we, I mean the comedians.
Yeah.
And even the people that watch it as well,
you know, so
there's a lot of comment that goes under some of these posts.
So definitely, we are not portraying the country in a bad light. At least let's rule that aside. But in terms of us being unserious, sometimes I get that vibe. Again, when you look at the case in point you mentioned about the El-Rufai door opening and the opener of the door having a door opener, when that conversation was ongoing, a lot of people did not understand the ridiculousness that came with that.
Yes.
Right? The ridiculousness became more visible when these comedians picked it up and was showing you what you were doing practically. It was funny, but for me, I think it sent a message. Yes. It was clear for you to understand this is ridiculous. You don't have to. I don't know. We have this sense of everybody wanting to be served by somebody else and not exactly focusing on your own service, right? So I think that helps in terms of making sure that whoever the message is supposed to understand, understands it, right? So taking it from that angle, I think, yes, but there are times when something serious will be happening. I want to get angry, and then I see the tweets, I'm like,
let me interrupt you, Elsie, because we have a call from Suya, if I got the name right, from Lagos. Oh, Uwa from Lagos. Hello, Uwa from Lagos.
Is that our Uwa?
I don't know. We will find out when we hear the voice. Hi, Uwa from Lagos.
Hello.
That's Uwa.
Hello.
Hi, ladies. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Hi, Dami. Hi, Elsie. And hi.
We missed you. Hi.
You're amazed.
All right. So I just wanted to quickly say that, so I remember about 3-4 years ago, I did a training on mind programming. And, you know, they taught us the best way to learn things is when you're in a happy place. So they made us dance in class. They made us, you know, behave like children, you know, so that when they teach you, at that point, it stays in your mind, right? So I think comedy can become a very powerful tool in passing the message when it comes to probably nation building, all the ills that we're having, or the challenges that we're having with leadership and all of that. So I must commend Mr. Macaroni, Shaggy, a lot of them. Ali Baba himself, I mean, the grand comedian himself, I mean, Bovi, even the guests we're supposed to have today, Benga Dinka as well. Most of them actually incorporate a lot of national issues when they are doing their comedy skits and all of that, or maybe stand-up comedy and all of that. But I think it's a very powerful tool, and I really would welcome more comedians, you know, to start to pass very, very strong messages, especially if we are trying to build a better Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Uwa.
Thank you for being a caller.
Yes. Thank you for being a caller.
All right, bye, ladies.
Bye. Thank you. We're so happy to hear from Uwa. And that's Uwa's point, is that it's really contributing. The spotlighting all these events is contributing to letting people know. But I would like Milola to continue her thoughts on what she was saying.
What I think, if we water down the conversation by making skits,
yes,
or if we're passing the message with that,
yes,
without a doubt, we make nonsensical, pardon my English, of serious issues when we over comedialize it.
Let's find
it. We take that adjective. We will let it go.
Over comedify it.
That's it. Another one.
If it's not existing, it's existing now.
We say so. So I think we need to take life more seriously. It's not that hard, really, but maybe because I pride myself as a very serious-minded individual. I take serious matters seriously. And I think that as much as we're allowed to do comedy and pass the message, a bunch of time when it goes on and people get more entertained than enlightened, then we've lost the message. There is no doubt, there's no doubt that we do a bit too much in skits and in comedy that after they've been entertained, they don't get the message. And we need to find a fine balance between comedy and enlightenment, you know, where we're really, really informing and educating people on the ills of the society without taking away from the comedy and without watering down the message. So in my opinion, we do a bit too much. When there's a very serious matter, people would make joke out of it. Everything is a skit. And it makes our leaders not take us very seriously. They think that the Nigerian youth are very unserious-minded. If you ever get a chance to sit with them and you feel their pulse, the kind of things they talk about we on social media would make you understand a major disconnect
between the two generations.
Yes, and that's because of how we play too much.
How we portray it.
Yeah, and we don't address it significantly enough. Another concern that I have about our issues is after these kids, we really just leave it there. I'm not trying to push for any revolution, but we need to take our destiny more seriously. Our national karma, in my opinion. Now, this is a serious conversation. This is a comedy conversation,
okay.
but I struggle to laugh a lot because
we beg to disagree, but it's okay. You can continue.
So I think what we're creating and generating, it's not where we should be. Comedy is good, but it's usually short-lived.
Okay.
Just like the endorphin, dopamine, they're very few minutes, you're over it. But the lasting implication of your action is far-reaching beyond the few entertainments you've just had. So do we just use comedy as the only tool of just entertaining people? No. We need to understand that at the end, perhaps at the end of every skit, reinforce the purpose for that comedy. Drive it down so that people take away the meat and milk of your conversation beyond just entertainment.
I see that Elsie is itching to say something, but before you say it, let me differ in some points, and that is about passing the message, because we have different groups of people in this country. If you're going to write a blog, write an article, you will miss a lot of people in this country. Also because the country is undereducated. We have less than 60% of our population educated. So who's going to, who's going to read the newspapers? But you can stop by and see a comedy that tells you about in less than 1 minute or 1 minute 30 seconds would tell you the full story of what is really happening, would tell you about looting. And also, if we check out the general populace, that's the information they get. That's the news for them. That's the interpretation for them. So why I would say that for some people, it might look like a joke. But I think that the leaders are also aware of the tools of comedy. They know the power that it has and the effects because they are using it. They're using it. The Twitter that we are saying that we're on serious on, or the Facebook, that is their campaign ground. At least for this government, that was their campaign ground. So I would want to say that I think it depends on the segment or the demography that we're looking at. Elsie, please unleash.
Yeah. I think you've touched a bit on what I wanted to talk about in terms of we having different groups of people. But the area I was going to take it from is that we have the comedians, right? And we have the serious people like Milola, right? We all have our role to play, and I think that is where the balance comes in. While these people, the only difference is that they have wider audience because, of course, it's comedy. We want to laugh, so more people want to follow them than someone who every day tells us the statistics behind corruption, right?
I know.
That's because we also. Most of our motivational speakers and our wellness coach will tell you to curate your pages in a way that you don't get a lot of negativity or you don't consume a lot of negativity. And having to follow Nigerian statistics every day, my sister, it's negativity. So they have much more audience than these other people. However, that balance has to be there in terms of those who are speaking up on the real issue. And it's always there. It's always about you following it and seeing it. While they are busy making you laugh and understand the situation in their own way, there are people who every day, in fact, there's somebody on social media that I'm always like, this man is always talking. But when I go to his page and read everything he's saying, I realize that everything he's saying is actually important, right? But look at me saying, why are you always talking? It's because it's not comedy. If he was giving me a TikTok 1 minute video every day,
you'll probably be entertained.
I will be entertained. I will be saying, oh, I need to go to so and so person's page because there has to be something. But because it's something tasking my brain, I'm already saying, oh no,
attention span.
Attention span. So there are people who are covering that space. I think we as a people also need to do better in projecting those conversations. Our media and platforms, this is not about TV now. Those that are on social media that you see as your media content people, they need to put in efforts to projecting those really important conversations as against just projecting comedy and people that are fooling themselves. So you see that if I tweet every day or post on Facebook or Instagram and talk about the important things in society, they won't pick it. But the day I come out to say, I saw AK's husband in one corner. You will reach the biggest blogs without us soliciting for their support. So I am saying that if they can think about their platform as that tool to also help us reshape our narrative and help us understand where we're coming from, where we are now, where we're going to, then they can begin to pick this content, not just the comedy, but amplify content that will help us. And when she was talking about our leaders, so when they talk about us, they just think that we are unserious. The truth is, they just don't want to see things in the right direction. That is where emotional intelligence comes as a leader. You can, yes, you are Gen Y or Gen Z, whatever you are, right? But you are leading everybody from Gen X to Gen Y to Gen Z.
You're the leader for everybody.
It's your responsibility to begin to think about how their brain works, how they function, how their creativity works, regardless of them thinking that we are unserious. These are still the youths that are building one of the finest fintech ecosystem in Africa. When you I remember when we were talking about SME, I wasn't on the show, but you had a guest who was talking about how CBN and what is happening in the financial space. Let's forget about what is happening in fintech right now. That is one of the foremost platforms in the world. It's not just about Africa right now. There are payments that we incorporated that we were sort of, I think, the first or the second in our payment system. And we are doing these things, and most of these guys behind these things are young people. So I do not like it, even in my interpersonal relationship, when you come to talk to me about somebody, I always remind you to go back to the positives of that person. You cannot keep focusing on the negatives or your seeming negative, because I mean, negative is relative to an extent. You cannot just keep focusing on that and forgetting about all the good things about that person, and then focus on the bad part and say, oh, this person did this. It's always my duty in conversation. Maybe that's why friends don't bring gist to me. I'll tell you, this person cannot be all that bad. Remember, because I wouldn't like it when maybe I do something wrong and you forget about the all good things that I have done, and which is what our leaders is doing as well. When one youth does something, of course, the media will project it and tell you,
Elsie, if we also use what the leaders are doing to judge them, because they are consistent in doing things that are not okay.
They are saying we are not serious. It's not because of comedy, my dear. It's because they just want to believe that.
So there's a perception that we have that our leaders are not serious, and there's a perception they have that the youth are not serious.
Not that we don't have perception that they are not serious. So they are not serious in the things that we are serious in.
That's another one.
They are not serious in the things that we're serious, but let's move over to comedy and national unity. Do we think that comedy is bringing us together as a people, is helping us repair those lines where we are divided? Because what you can laugh at in the South, you can laugh at in the North. What do you think that comedy does? Because some people think that, you know, comedy had a hand to play in the unity that we observed during the NSAS protest. That because people could identify with those platforms, like you mentioned, MC Macaroni. Now, I'm sure his audience spans across every ethnic group. So let's just talk more about that. Do we think that comedy is helping national unity?
Very, very profound the way you put it out, and it made me... One thing is, energy flows where attention goes. And the moment we start to focus on something as a vehicle and as a tool, we start to become more cognizant of the benefit and the impact it has on us. And listening to our conversation this evening, because when I thought about our topic for today, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know what we're going to talk about comedy being a tool. But there's a huge conversation coming out from Elsie and from you. And I'm deeply touched to look at things a bit differently and to give some credence to the comedian space. Without a doubt, most comedians, like you said, have fans that cut across tribes, colors, both genders, irrespective of whether you're northerner or you're from the Southwest. They connect with you. So in that regard, yes, absolutely, comedy does affect and contribute to nation building. And looking at it as a tool, we might need to put it out there. I don't know if we're going to have, what's it called? What's the word? Like a document to share with our comedian, or find a way to synergize and let them work together as a team, as against as a divided entity. I understand there's always a niche. They all have their niche space and they have their clique. But if they can all come together as a force and try to reinforce the message, it would go a longer way in how comedy can reshape our
that's profound. That's profound.
So I think from what you have said, what we probably need is just the documents. Because if it's about collaboration, I think they are even teaching people in Nollywood how to collaborate.
How to collaborate.
But they don't do it enough.
They do.
Well, it's a journey. It's a journey, and I think that it's a journey. So comedy, for me, the advent of comedy in the last 5 years has changed dramatically. Everyone uses them. The corporate marketing uses them. Everyone uses them. Even people that want to sell their products infuse comedy. So I think it's a journey, you know, it's a journey. We're beginning to understand the importance of comedy. And as you have said, Elsie, it's on demand. It's not easy for these people, even for the ones who are talking, it's not easy to come up with things that people can learn.
How do people churn these things out?
The content every minute. Every minute. Like there's always content. And there's something that I watch one guy, is one of the guys that does skit, Babaladie. And at the end of the skit, he appealed to people, just comment, just recognize our effort. We need to do more of that. We need to give more applaud. We need to give more accolade to people that are entertaining us, without just jumping over their page, getting blessed and scrolling past.
True.
Wow.
We need to do more of that.
They would love you for this comment.
They have put their content out there. They need to get
hard work.
Yes, they need to get some recognition. There's something it does to us with this, whether we realize it or not, we're all living in our devices. The social media space run parallel line with the physical world. And
most definitely.
You're going to go into extinction if you do not evolve and come to terms with the fact that it's a parallel world we run, and see how you can get the meat and milk out of this platform. So when people put out their content, they're advertising their business, the least we can do is to recognize and engage those content. It gives them the vibe, the energy. The feedback of likes and commenting does a significant work in their psyche to be able to be more creative. So that is
we're
important.
really running out of time, so let me
really? I want to respond to the nation building
okay, please. Okay, you haven't. No, please do.
Okay. I was going to, you mentioned about it being a tool to unite tribes, right? There is this guy on social media, on Instagram, right? I think he's called Nasboy.
Yes.
The first video, not the first, I think I'm following him for a while, but the one that really went viral was the one he did about, he was talking about the possibility of there being an airport in Aba. I don't know if you saw that. Aba
no, I didn't see that one. I didn't see that. And
what would happen. And the depiction of that video was something that was so funny that a lot of people could ask. I was saying that from the sound system, you'll be called to go and flush the toilet if you forget to flush the toilet. You know, it was really funny. And for the longest of time, because of his kids, I thought this guy was from the East.
Oh, thank you very much. Did I hit me too?
I heard his name is Nasiru.
I was so
something.
You hit it on the head. I never, for the life of me, I did not think that he was not from the East.
I'm telling you.
Whoa.
And he does skits that resonates with people from the East a lot. From his body movement, his words, the way he pushed the words out there,
you probably grew up in that space.
Also, you would then see comedians maybe from the eastern part, and then they use Igbo language. You see
yes, I see a lot of that. There's a lady that does the northern accent.
I like you, even though I don't understand what you are saying.
And they do.
But please, can you put a what's it called now? Is it subtitle? So that we would understand what you are saying. These are people genuinely wanting to still relate to a content that is not in their own indigenous language. So for me, it's easier for me because I understand Yoruba, I understand Igbo. So if you bring it in, no, I don't understand Hausa. I need to learn Hausa. So most times I can really engage on content in the space, in the media space, because Hausas are still coming up in terms of comedy. I don't think we have a lot of that. But I hope I would learn enough of Hausa before they become big. So
quickly, before we miss out on this, you never thought we had a lot to talk about.
I didn't think
there is comedy and employment.
Yes, agreed.
So let's talk about comedy and employment. Because some years ago, Basket Mouth and Bovey and, the earlier comedians and what's the grandfather of comedy?
Alibaba.
They were seen as broke people. people that did not have work. But now someone can come and write on their CV, comedian with their full chest, and drive good cars and have, you know, big houses. So do we see, you know, hope in that? Because I see a lot of people jumping up, trying to accumulate followers because they earn from it. Please tell us about it, because Elsie, you know a lot of
You're saying, do we see hope in that? The hope is there. It's in there already.
Yes.
I mean, people like Alibaba and Co, we knew their model of earning in terms of events, covering events, having their stand-up comedy shows, live events and all that. But then came social media and influencer marketing came.
And it changed.
And it meant that the game changed.
Wow.
Which is why I was talking about the collaboration that happens in that space. Because even these people you mentioned now understand that they need to collaborate.
Exactly.
Or
They're
they
going
fade
to
away, right?
extinction.
So
Yes.
you see people like Basketmouth, Bovi doing the sort of collaboration they can in the way they can. Now it's not just about them not being extinct as well. It's because they're also trying to bring up other people to. I mean, Bovi, I'm not sure, probably has about 3 million followers or so. So if you bring someone who has maybe 100,000 followers and collaborate with them, that can help them increase their own social currency as well.
Synergy.
So it is a big tool for employment. We've talked about unemployment rate in Nigeria. These guys are using these platforms because how it works is, if you're lucky enough, some of them have their content on YouTube, so they earn from the AdSense program and all that. But for Instagram, if you catch the eyes of this branch you mentioned, they definitely want you to do something creative. I mean, Taoma does a lot of that. A lot of them do that.
Yes.
And you laugh and then get the message. So that way, believe you me, some of them earn as close to, or charge close to 1 million to 2 million for one video.
I know, my sister.
Right? So that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
I know they have
It
a
is.
lot of team around them in terms of their editors, their camera guys and all that, but my dear,
It's business.
1
You need to
million
put. You need to
is
invest
a big
in
deal
it.
for
a big deal.
maybe 90 seconds video.
It is a
you know?
big
So
deal.
it's a big deal, and it's really helping a lot of young people. If they feel they are creative, they feel they can be funny, they can make us laugh, or if you're it's not even just about laughing. Sometimes you can just decide to be the mumu on social media.
Oh, what is the
Just
name of
something.
what is the
And
name
people
of that?
like it. You're
What's the
making
name
money.
of the guy that just got 100 million followers on TikTok? He doesn't do anything. He just talk. He doesn't
I don't
talk.
know his name,
I've
but
forgotten his
what
name.
does
I
he
think
do?
it's Kenya. He don't. So he just comes. He just looks like this. If you're doing anything,
So
and
what
that's all.
not just that,
I
you know,
don't
he
know.
relates
I've
it to
never seen
something.
it.
Yes, he relates
so
it to
when
something.
you see some of these videos that are really ridiculous, where
Yes.
somebody's trying to tie his or her shoelace,
And he does a simpler
and he's
one.
using a machine
Yes.
to tie the shoelace, the guy will then put the video side by side
And
then
react.
tie the shoelace like a normal woman being. I say,
Oh.
and he doesn't say anything.
Okay,
Really?
so
His second was followed on TikTok.
on TikTok,
globally.
Second most followed.
Right
I say
now.
100 million.
Whoa.
100. So we can see, and I'm so. I'm so surprised that we have to go,
Yeah.
but we have just touched on so many things, and thank you,
have to go.
ladies,
We can
for just
stay-
keeping the
We
conversation
can stay
real
behind
and
the
keeping-
camera and continue.
Okay, so but let's just check before we leave. Let's just check if we have any comment from our viewers. Okay, so we have a comment from Benson. He says, "Greetings, ladies. You know, comedy can actually bring us together just like football. We accept." We've just talked about
definitely.
the unity. Elsie, do you have any with you? Do you
No,
have
I
any
don't.
comments with you?
not at the moment.
Okay. Okay, so I will just take one, and I think when I do, I think Elsie, you'd have one with you too. Okay, so I'll take this comment from, so hold on a second, let me pull it up. From Joyce from Ugudu. She says, comedy is a very powerful tool, and in fairness, I think the comedians are very united. Without comedy, the COVID-19 lockdown would have been hell. And we didn't even go
That
there.
is
It would
a
have been
good
hell.
one.
That's a great
Thank
one.
you.
So let's take Elsie. Let's
Yeah,
take-
so the comment here says, what make other countries go into flame, but here in Nigeria it becomes a comedy and a laughing stock? It is only in Nigeria that you see corrupt officials always acting the same scene during their court proceedings. Indeed, they need medical attention.
That was from Raphael Akori from Zaria.
another one.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments, but thank you, ladies, because you've done
you.
justice to this
Thank
topic.
you.
And even though our guest missed the train, I think we have probably echoed some of his thoughts and some of
Yeah,
his.
he sends his apologies.
Yes,
so.
he does. And we would, he owes
He's
us.
coming. He's coming.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening. We've touched on so many things: employment, nation building. What does comedy do for you? But before we go, please Follow us on our social media page at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, we're planning a giveaway just to say thank you for watching and believing in the Ways brand and following our conversation. So do also follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. Like, share, comment, just as Milola said, comment, and invite your friends and follow us.
Encourage us.
Yes, invite your friends and family to watch and follow us on Ways. And if you missed today's quote, here it is again. The duty of comedy is to correct men by amusing them, and that was by Morel. So until we see you next time where we bring another great conversation to your screen. Bye-bye.
Ciao.